guys, and welcome back to the Try Time podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Callum.
And you join us for the second of our two videos on Championship Week, the season preview. Now, let's hope this one goes a bit better than just vibes, although I've got no promises.
Yeah, I mean, after the NRL one, there were a lot of... It was basically just a full hour of vibes, wasn't it, really?
We love the vibes. Well, for anyone who watched that, you clearly love the vibes, so welcome to more of it. I don't know if we've got much to say than with previewing a championship, so shall we just jump? I assume we're going bottom to top again.
Yeah, usual, like we've done for Super League and NRL.
Now, I guess the question is, have you prepped this, or are we winging it?
Obviously, I've prepped it. I'm a supporter of a championship club.
Right, well, I'm winging it, so we're literally welcome to Vibes Matt edition.
Right.
14th?
Well, 14th. I think it's pretty obvious, to be fair. I'm intrigued about it. I actually want you to go first.
Dewsbury.
Yeah, Dewsbury. That's who I've gone with.
Right, fair play if you're getting promoted. You've probably got weakened in squad, battered in the 1895 for want of a better word, and Paul Sykes, tremendous respect, you're 43, fair play, but you're probably not a championship top halfback anymore. Any advances?
Well, I think it is that the fact that they've literally lost. They've probably got a worse team than they did last year. They just don't have the money to be able to spend these players. I think there's going to be a few of their better players that move on to other championship clubs as well, not necessarily Paul Sykes, but some of the younger ones, you know, when they
think he'd have a job getting another contract at 44 next season.
I mean, it's sad really, but I do think, and the fact that obviously they lost to Keighley in 1895, not just like Bradford were.
Well, that was the one I was more concerned about.
But the fact that they lost to a League One team, and I do.
Didn't you barely beat the League One team?
Well, yeah, look, Keighley put up a good fight. Don't get me wrong, like they were up for it. So. I think Dewsbury at the bottom will be pretty much a general consensus throughout everyone predicting the league, really. So 13th now. This is where it gets.
Whitehaven.
Are you right? Have you read my notes?
Have you got the same?
Obviously, I've got Whitehaven. Yeah, it's like the obvious two.
Yeah, I don't see any other
it is pretty
outcome.
Obvious.
Unfortunately, fair play. Really like the club, nice part of the world, but you just don't look like you've got the squad compared to the rest of the championship.
Yeah, and we've got obviously like around the time now when we're recording this, a couple of days before the whole stuff around, there were rumours about players like Jake Mason leaving, and there were some money issues. Obviously they've come out and made a fairly professional, decent statement about how that ain't an issue and it's all a sort of a cash flow thing based on people owing them money. But with stuff like that, you just never know. A player's head could just go and be like...
Or equally, a transfer fee that clears that initial short-term admin headache is quite tempting, especially if your players are getting a little bit like, okay, this is fine, but we want the assurances, we want the money.
But yeah, if you've got another club coming in saying, oh, you're going to get paid and I'll pay you a little bit more, then it'd be silly not to jump at it, wouldn't they, really? So, I just think, I mean, it might be close down there with them to stay up. You never know with Whitehaven because they have got an alright home record going. It's a hard place to go, is Cumbria, no matter what team you go into. But yeah, I just can't. I think the championship's really strong this year. So
12?
12, right. I need to remember.
Am I going again?
You go, yeah, because I can't remember.
Am I doing all these first this point? 12, I've got...
Yeah, because you could pick your team based off who I say. That's
Barrow.
Why I'm asking you first. Oh my god.
What have you got?
Barrow.
For God's sake. I got spanked by Oldham. Getting beat by a League One team is not a good start.
I mean, a thing about Barrow, which is one reason that's easy to put them above Whitehaven, is the fact that
they'll beat you there.
Well, they'll beat us there. That is a fact because they always beat us there. But also, they won that Cumbria in 1895 group. To be fair, and to be fair as well, they give Wakey a decent game in quarters.
It's not that I think this is a bad team. I just think, like you say, the quality of the rest of the league is genuinely really strong this year.
Yeah, they could finish 7th and I won't be shocked. But they could also go down and I won't be that shocked, to be fair. Like, it's just one of them where you just never know, really, with Barrow. But they are a hard team to beat again at home, especially for Bradford. I don't think we beat them at home there ever, to be honest, as long as I can remember. And they usually beat us, like, do double overs as well, so...
Right, 11th. I hope this is the first place where we've picked a different one.
I don't think it will be, but go on.
Doncaster.
God's sake, this is like... Wow, this is some quality content. We're actually whizzing through these as well.
It's because we're not arguing with each other for once.
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, I've gone Doncaster as well.
It's very X Factor signings, but one, they've got to take time to settle, and two, Newcastle did this how many years ago, and it didn't really work out very well. Like, I know what they're trying to do, and I really hope they put bums on seats there, but I think in terms of a young, hungry, cohesive team chemistry perspective, it's not the right squad assembly for them.
Yeah. Oh, I don't get me wrong. Again, it's similar to Barrow. They could easily finish 7th, even playoffs and that. I'd be like, if they have a good run, fair play. Like on paper, they've got a better team than London had last year, and London went up. So you can't. It's like it's hard to say that.
But have they got Mike Eccles? That's the thing.
No, exactly not. But and there is there's some old players there. Obviously, they're good old players, but you never know. I think they'll be. Don't get me wrong. I think they'll be tough to beat. I don't think they'll be near going down.
No.
At all. Like I say, I think I could see them if it clicks and they go on a run. They'll get. There's always a team. I don't think every season. I'm pretty sure from when I can remember, there's a shock team in the playoffs in the Championship. Whether it's been like Sheffield for past like 3 years, Batley.
At this point, if it's 3 years, it probably shouldn't be a shock to you.
But you know what? It still is though. You still like last year. I still thought Sheffield aren't going to get playoffs, and the buddy.
I had the whole season of Sheffield drop off, Sheffield drop off, Sheffield drop off, and then they beat you.
Yeah.
And we're moving on to 10. Right, please say this is the one we've gone different.
What 10th? I don't think it will be.
Swinton.
Oh, it's different. There's difference.
We've got difference.
I've gone Batley.
Fair enough.
And again, I do actually think they are pretty interchangeable. But I'll let you go on what Swinton for your thoughts on Swinton.
Yeah, I just generally don't think they've got what it takes to quite match everyone above them from 1 to 13. And, you know, they've come up, this last time? Or was it the year before?
No.
Second season back up, innit?
Yeah, they had that one season down and then, yeah.
Like, you know, like you say, they could go on a mad run. If Jack Patton decides to find his Super League form, he could kick them all the way to 6th, who knows? But equally, the last few years have shown he's a very hot and cold player. I don't know how long his contract is signed there. Is it just a year? That might be the best way to get performance out of him if he has money on the table.
Yeah. I can't confirm that, but I think it'd make sense. After Bradford, we give him I think we must give him 2 years.
Well, you give him a contract, then he decided to basically go home for 3 months. So.
Yeah, but I think we kind of wanted it to be. I think we'd have ripped that contract up 3 months into.
Well, I meant more his form went off a cliff rather than him
yeah.
physically becoming bull girl.
Oh yeah, God. Although to be fair, last week I did see them in the same place, so they've either replaced, but a new.
They've definitely got a new bull girl.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering where Harry is this week, everyone, he is the new ball girl.
Yeah. But I guess I better say why Batley, to be fair.
Probably should, yeah.
Well, Batley, it's weird because they're not under Lingard now, and I feel like in recent history, I'm saying like the last 10 years, it's like you've not really, I feel like we've not seen Batley in a space where they're not being run by a manager who you know is going to just be steady. As in, like, they had all the good stuff he did for him, and then Lingard more recently, and it's like, you know they're going to be tough to beat, you know what you're going to get from them, and they're going to be at least mid-table, they're not going to be in trouble, but obviously now, you don't know what life after Lingard looks like. He's took he's took Sammy Kabula with him. So, what are the effects of that?
Kabula.
But at the end of the day, I do think they'll be fine. And again, they could get playoffs, and I wouldn't be shocked. And it's just a terrible place to go, is Batley. As in, like the ground, it's a hard pitch to play on. I love the away day. The ground's hard for teams to win on.
Yeah. Fair enough. 9th.
Well, I've got Swinton.
Well, I've got Batley in 9th. So is there much more to say other than once again Kabula?
Well, I mean, I assume you haven't got much else to say on Batley, basically.
Not really.
More or less what I've said. Squad's steady, and it's kind of, you know what you're going to get from Batley. They're always going to compete out.
I'll be honest, I was just going to give Harry a chance to sing along to the pod. Since the Bulls fan starts the cast chants these days.
Yeah. Right, but yeah, I can't believe Sammy Kabula's finally got a contract in Super League.
We didn't even play under Lingard in Championship.
But we're finally talking about him on the Championship preview.
Well, didn't we also talk about him last week when we had Johnny Lou on the pod, when we established that Harry is known on Twitter for just being gobshite?
Yeah, that's his name outside of our circle. That's what everyone else.
So we've got Bull Girl, Gobshite, and Kabula.
Yeah, basically. But
top 8.
Well, no, let me do this. I've got Swinton.
Oh, you've got more to add on Swinton. Fair enough.
Swinton are one of the teams I've actually watched in person this year.
That's true.
Because obviously we knocked them out, didn't we? Yeah, get that in here, bastards. Right.
For God's sake, you just made the Swinton fans turn
Swinton
off now.
could be... Swinton, this is a... Predict Swinton could be playoffs, and I would not be shocked.
And what happens when they get playoffs and knock you out and go away, you bastards?
They are, honestly, a terrible team to play against. I mean... Don't get me wrong, like, you never know what you're going to get with Dec Patton, and you can, in terms of if you need a player to put a chipped at corner, he's the best in, probably, at least in Championship.
He will win or lose you the game, pretty much.
But he also can't tackle for shit, and he's soft as fuck, so it's kind of like, you kind of got to find the right balance with him. But, the fact is, and it's the problem with the Bradford teams he was in, maybe not necessarily back in the last year, but Patton were out of that team for a reason, was soft teams. Right, whereas Swinton is one of the hardest teams in the league in terms of they don't miss tackles. You know, like they're a physical team, and that actually might outweigh.
Well, I was going to say it's going to go one of two ways, isn't there? He's going to be like the band-aid over the bullet hole. That's just going to leak everything, or they're going to cover for his defensive deficiencies. Let's say.
Yeah, and just with the ball as well, like he's a. You know, he's not the sort of six that's going to break the line. Do you know what I mean? But also, they've just got a lot of...
He's probably not getting very far.
Yeah. But they've also got players like, you know, George Roby, a good young hooker who I definitely like. And some just good play. You know, they've got players like Reece Williams on wing. Like, they have actually picked up some nice names. And they've just got a good, solid team. You know, even though they've lost probably... I mean, Mr. Swinton, Rodri Lloyd's gone to witness. But it still looks a strong team, and at home the atmosphere their fans generate at home is really good. I mean, you've never been, have you, to Swinton? So you're going to.
That's going to change this year.
Yeah, but it's a really good away game to go to, but also mostly because Swinton actually give you a good game at there.
Yeah.
So that's why I've put Swinton as that, and fair play to Swinton, and they brought quite a few fans actually to Odsal last week. So fair play.
Fair play.
Right, top 8 now. So
I think this is where we're going to start having a bit more shocks between us.
Although we have got the same top 8 in terms of the teams.
That's true.
There's only so much variance there can be, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I think I might throw a curveball in here.
Right. Well, who have you got 8th then?
Halifax.
Right. Interesting. I've got Widnes.
Interesting.
Go on. I'll let you discuss facts. You're not a Widdop fan?
I mean, about 10 years ago, yes. I mean, it's like handing your nan on 2 crutches a contract these days. Even when fit, he didn't light up Castleford. And don't get me wrong, Championship, Super League, very different games. But that's also part of the problem. This isn't just playing the same game but at a lower standard. It's a completely different type of rugby. And if he's not fit enough without getting crocs every week in Super League, how's he going to cope in the Championship, which I think is more physical, less technical, skill asset-wise.
Yeah, you're going to be playing.
You've also lost Walmsley, which is a massive amount of tries gone. And I don't know if Greg Eden is going to be a sole answer to that number.
Yeah, I think you almost want Eden and Walmsley. I think then you've got 2 best wingers in the league.
I think if you add Jaffer kick into both those 2 in the corner, you'd have a very interesting team. But as it is, it's going to be very... I feel like it's going to become a bit more one-dimensional. And it kind of feels like with facts, you take your fry out of the game and you've nullified 95% of the threat.
Oh, the fact is,
and teams know that.
He is easily their best player by a country mile. Even when Widdop's there, he is. Like, he is the difference. I mean, last season, obviously, they missed playoffs, so you've got to count that in. But Dufresne is probably better than halfbacks in Super League.
And this is part of the problem. They missed playoffs last year, and I would say they've got weaker over the off-season.
Yeah, and also...
And other teams have strengthened. So those 2 things together, for me, made them the natural choice to be 8th and missing out again.
And I know it's not my turn to speak on facts, but I just wanted to put this in whilst I've got a chance.
I mean, we don't have a bloody rotor.
No. But also, they got rid of... I don't know what the situation was, but Dan Murray, one of their main prop forwards, left to go to Widnes. And then in Halifax's next game, their other star prop, Will Calcott, got injured for the season. So they literally...
So they're now the 2 starting props
and
down.
they already only had a squad of, I think, about 21 players. So you can already imagine that's quite thin. So your under-19 props are going to
Yeah.
Halifax is basically what I'm telling you, mate.
Well, let's segue this very nicely. Rodri Lloyd's gone to Widnes, their prop's gone to Widnes, and you still think Widnes are going to finish lower than them. Explain.
Yeah, and I'm almost trying, like, talking the swap into my head now. But I just
Well,
think...
you've just revealed who you've got 7th then.
Yeah, but I think that was pretty obvious anyway. I just think Halifax have got certain bits of star power, like Widdop probably can win your game due for it, Eden, whereas I like the Widnes team, and I mean, they turned bloody Bradford.
I'm going to say they've got enough to win a game against.
But we were
guys
absolutely terrible. And I do like a lot what they've got going on, and I just think for them, it all runs through Gilmore. I mean, he did against us, didn't he? He just absolutely run games.
We talk about the importance of Geoffrey to Fax. That is Gilmore to Widnes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think my worry with Widnes is if they get a couple of injuries, I think they're shot. And I also don't think the pack is anywhere near as good as.
I think the
Halifax
big difference though with that is, well, is that Halifax is when fit or not? I guess is the first question.
When fit, definitely. But I mean, you take Murray out of Fax and put him in Widnes, it does strengthen Widnes. I do like Matty Fozzard, great hooker and stuff. They've got good
problem
players.
You've got there with that is who is Widnes' coach and what does that typically mean? Not very glamorous, regimented, but basically solid. John Keir rugby.
Yeah, although John Keir's not there anymore.
That he's. I was getting to that.
Oh, right, I thought
he's spent a lot of time coaching these players. You've now got a new coaching regime in who you'd like to think will bring a bit more of that flair and do a bit more with the kids. You saw some of the inventive stuff Gilmore was putting up. That's not typical of a Keir team. But what they did keep was that tough tackling, decent line of them working together, and that's the kind of solid rugby that can win you games in the championship, even if you lack that bit of inspiration to just turn on a switch and go 80 metres.
Yeah, I guess the thing with Widnes is, and I guess it were a problem last year and maybe the season before, is they've kind of just whittled away and just done nothing in this. They've never really threatened the playoffs, and obviously there's a lot of issues going on, I think, behind the scenes at Widnes in terms of the higher ups there, and there's been some statements thrown around and stuff, and it's all a bit messy. But
you get that at its very top. I mean, look at Chris Chester.
No, I know what you're saying, but I just do see. I think over the last couple of years, the behind the scenes stuff has actually hindered Widnes, and I think I'm talking myself into putting my, but I'm not. I'm going to stick to my guns.
Are you sticking Widnes 8?
Yeah, so
you've got Widnes 8, Fax 7.
And I've got Fax 7, but I guess there's not much more to say about Fax. We've just had a discussion.
So we're on to my 7th place.
Yeah, which is not Widnes, I can already tell you.
No, it's York.
York, wow. Fair play, mate, fair play. Go on, I'll let you...
I've not been very impressed by the results, really. I think they've had one good day, and that was against a Newcastle team that's basically full of amateurs and trialists. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a miracle they've even got a squad. It was never going to be a competitive, hard-fought battle to the end. But I don't know. I don't see much in that squad that inspires me anymore. And I think while Richie Myler is a luxury player for them, it's a luxury that they can't afford when there's deficiencies in other more key areas. We talk about one player not being enough to take you to the playoffs, Fax being the evidence of that last year, and it feels like that's what York are going to end up relying on a 34, 35-year-old Richie Myler to do.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'll get onto it when I get to
I think they've got a great coach.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, I don't think the squad's there to back him up.
I don't know, but I'll say my bits on York when I'm there. I guess I don't have a lot to say more on Fax.
I told you this is where we get some controversy and disagreements.
So we have got a different top 6 then.
We have.
Only by one team though.
Yeah.
So I can't remember who I've put 6 for now.
Well, shall I just jump in then?
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you to go in.
I mean, I don't really have much to add.
Hey, have you gone Widnes 6?
I very much contemplated putting them higher.
Right, yeah. You've kind of talked me in, like, you've done a good little talk about them then, actually.
My next 2 positions I'm going to say is now, I would not be surprised if Widnes don't finish 4th this season. But I have thought...
Right.
But I'm going to be real and stick 6th. And I think I'm probably going to have to talk myself out of this as we get to the other ones, but that's what I'm going with. I don't have much more to add on what you've said and what
for
we've
me,
discussed.
I mean, we haven't got to top 4 yet, but in my head, this top 4 is probably going to finish.
Oh, I think the top 4 is going to miss a name that you think is in there.
Oh, God. I know that name's going to be as well. It's going to upset me. It actually might not. Actually, I know what you're going to say. But
Well, you do.
Have I said who I've gone with yet?
No.
Oh, I've gone with Sheffield. Again, for whatever year we're in,
the shock factor.
Yeah. Still, but that team is look at that team on paper, and I know you're going to say, "Oh, Chris Wellham, shit, right?" But that team is seriously good.
That's what I mean. It's not a shock anymore.
And they've been together. The core of that team has been together for yonks.
They know how to play.
They had a few players in. They've worked under Mark Aston for the last 20 years or something.
I mean, he's even sacked his son off to get results now.
Like they've got just great players, and they're always tough to beat.
Yeah.
Like it's always a good game whenever you play Sheffield, and they always just seem to get job done and be up there or thereabouts. So that's why I've just got to put them in there.
So am I going with 5th and probably quite a lot to add.
I know you're going to say Fev's 5th, but I'll let it go on.
I am going to say Featherstone 5th.
Go on, man.
You've just simply not got a deep enough squad. That's the crux of the issue.
I'm loving this, mate. Go on,
You've also just lost Ben Reynolds, who was arguably going to be your main half-back. Certainly your main 6 heading into the new season. And there's a lot of debate whether or not he'll come back on dual reg, but then I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm seeing this. Why would KR sign him if they're not going to play him, especially given that May and Lewis are not working yet?
No,
well, you're certainly not going to get either of them on dual reg, I'll tell you that. Imagine bloody May in Championship rocking up to bloody Whitehaven away.
God, that'd be a bloody...
That'd be a come down, wouldn't it? Catalans to Whitehaven. But yeah, I don't know. They've lost a lot this year.
They've brought over, I can't remember his name, but they've just signed a guy from NRL, haven't they? Off like a similar sort of signing to what Bradford have made.
Yeah, but
and you don't know how that's going to go, do you really? Like,
what were the comments we had on a pre-season that how can you say Matt Moylan's not a proven superstar and so far they haven't won a game? Like,
true.
You know, there's levels to this. He could grab them by the hump, like the next Cam King at hooker, where he just looked head and shoulders above everyone else in the league.
They've had a few.
It could be an absolute pudding.
Yeah, which I can't think of an example of, but they had Farmanu.
Second season Ant Walker.
Well, yeah, but he's not bloody. He's not come over from NRL. They don't do bloody.
Matt Orford.
Yeah, but that's super. I'm thinking like champion. There's not many that fail actually, but they have a good track record. Defev with them sort of signings, I guess. Like even like a Mackenzie good and stuff. But yeah, I'll come to why I have Fev not.
And also, are you allowed to play trialists in the league competition?
Well, they're not. They've signed.
I mean, I know they've signed him now, but like you're recruiting from Doncaster's release list out of League One. And Pontefract Rugby Union, who last time I checked were not troubling the Aviva Premiership. It's not very ambitious from a club that's spent years saying they want to get to Super League. And now the boats are gone and the money's drying up. I think we're starting to see a bit of a come down and a rebuild where actually they need to do this by building a solid core rather than just signing whatever 32-year-old's falling out with his Super League club.
See, way I see it, and we might as well just go on, just speak about Fev for a bit.
Have you got them in 4th?
No, I've not. But I just wanted to mention this whilst it's in my head. I feel like the route they've gone, and it's a route that you get when you don't have an academy and stuff like that. Is they're on dual reg with KR, so they're probably going to get maybe 3 or 4 of KR because KR have got a massive squad with a lot of good talent in there that aren't going to play at Super League every week.
That's true.
Right, like your AJ Wallace is a good example, right? But so they have gone and they've probably got a really strong 15 players, and then they've gone and signed your Keenan Tomlinsons, who are like your lower Championship League One level players, to pad out the squad, knowing that they're going to get dual reg players and they're not going to play.
Yeah.
But they don't have them youngsters to
But
step
the problem with relying on this is you get dual reg players who turn up for, in some cases, like 1 or 2 weeks.
It don't work.
You'll get some probably your AJ Wallaces that are kind of on that periphery and will probably stay the bulk of the season. like you've had over the years with you like Liam Tyndall, etc.
Yeah. Although he was still bitty though, because obviously we were playing bits for you and then we didn't want...
Well, that's because Fuzzy 2 has made a cheat.
But a forward's always different because you've got more space for a forward and it can be more interchangeable in terms of positions. But like Reynolds, if May goes down injured one week and you've got Reynolds as your star 6, you're going to have to play Addy at 6.
Or if Lewis goes injured and you put May at 7, Reynolds at 6.
Yeah, but either one of those two. Yeah.
And I mean, Lewis is not unknown to having injury problems. I mean, I would, obviously, we hope this doesn't happen. But you've got to be realistic and accept the contact spot, even if it's just a concussion assessment for the week and he's stood down with a HIA.
Or
someone's going to have to replace him.
Suspension, which is big this year now.
And of course, Lewis is a player who naturally gets under the opposition's skin. He's got that almost thuggish element. That's what makes him so valuable.
Game, which is good, yeah.
But at the same time, a bit like Matt Parcell, it can go too far the other way and result in a card. Who's stepping in? Ben Reynolds. What does that do to Featherstone? Shits the bed.
Yeah, they either have to play Addy there or Aikens there out.
Which, if you're playing Addy there, you've lost a very good 13, so you've weakened somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're robbing Peter to pay Paul with your starting positions.
I think, they've got, obviously, with a lot of certain aspects of the team, and obviously we don't know how this lad who's going to come over is going to get on, but, you're Addy at 13. I absolutely love Jones at hooker, and, he's unreal. Really, I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
So they've got that nice core, and obviously Caleb Aikens. So it's that's what what I'm saying about they've almost splashed on a good sort of 14, 15.
Yeah.
And
then the rest needs just substandard to make up for him, relying on KR giving him the scraps.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll see them well into the playoffs, don't get me wrong. But I think against your more tight-knit teams, especially away from home, you're going to struggle to break those down because you've not got those instinctive plays. You've not everyone just running on the inside of the right point or playing the perfect overlap.
Yeah. What do you think? Go on, sorry, I've got...
you're relying on KR players to do Rovers players' jobs.
What's your opinion on Ford as a coach?
It's an interesting one, because obviously he was very highly rated at York whilst doing actually very little.
Got him up to Super League.
It's funny. I saw a tweet actually the other week, might be the other day actually, about certain clubs, particularly aimed at Super League, that have players that are considered really good and underrated, whilst at the same time doing nothing to prove that on a week in, week out basis. And is Jonathan Ford the coaching equivalent of that?
Yeah.
Because I'd argue Featherstone got worse when he came in.
Yeah, I think there were the whole thing, wasn't there, with Long and stuff there and Ford and how that all worked. And I don't know with Ford, it's like he's never truly done anything magnificent, but he's well spoken of and stuff, and I think
he's a good person to have around the club, but I don't know if he's tactically strong enough and has a distinct enough style at this stage to make him a top head coach.
I think it's interesting with Foss. There's all we are expecting a natural drop off because obviously last season there was easy away the league leaders. The year before that there was easily second against Lee, which that Lee team that went up is better than the current way.
Well, I mean, it went up and won the Challenge Cup, didn't it?
I will die on that hill, right? That Wakey fans will disagree with me, but that Lee team 2 years ago that went up.
No, it's miles better because the Lee team that went up 2 years ago
they're all
had players that were
League.
Similar level, but were also in their mid-20s. The Wakefield team that they've brought are players that have come out of Super League at about 34 and arguably chose Wakefield because there probably wasn't another Super League option on the table, whereas with Wakefield standing, it probably is going to be a Super League option longer term. How much more long term they've got, particularly your likes of Jerry McGilvray,
who's already gone down. But I mean, we'll come on. I think we'll
get to Wakefield probably last of all.
That's not saying I like Wakefield's recruitment. I'm just saying that Leigh team.
I think it's perfect for what they need to do, but the Leigh team was ultimately better.
Yeah, I mean, half.
And Denny stayed an entire season, so that says something, right?
Well, yeah, and then you had Emone, Asiata, Harry Pap, basically the core of the team that they've currently got, and they had
a silverware winning team.
Lamb and Reynolds, it literally.
I mean, do you know what? If Wakefield win the Challenge Cup this year, I will happily eat my words on that one.
Yeah, but they're not going to do.
Well, that's why it's pretty safe.
Well, we'll find out because they're playing Fev this weekend, which ties in quite.
Yeah, but they might win that.
I don't know though.
Anyway,
That'll
we're
be
into the
right
top
game.
4.
Right. I ain't even said my 5th yet.
Have you not?
No, because I said Sheffield 6. Who's your 5th is?
Featherstone, we've just discussed them.
Shit, yeah. Right, my 5th's York.
Oh, wait, we haven't said that.
But
I kind of assumed you'd put them there and moved on.
yeah, well, I mean, I think for York, a lot of similar to what you said. I think the Henderson factor's massive. I think he's probably the best coach in this league. Proven record, and I just really like him. I don't know. I'd love him at Bradford personally. Obviously, I like O'Carroll and what he's doing, but
what you mean? What is it? The Mank Mark Dunning, as we've seen blasted about Twitter.
Absolute knobhead. But yeah, I think York. I mean, the Myler effect is having a player like that on so much more money than he's probably on at least double. Well, he's on at least double the next lower down earner, isn't he? Realistically.
Well, what have we heard? Albeit we don't know if it's bullshit or not. 62.5 grand a year.
Yeah.
A Super League wage, pretty much.
Yeah.
Is that potentially a squad unsettling factor if he comes in and doesn't perform? Because if he only starts to have a run of bad average games and he's worth 62k a year, what about your solid dependables on about 25 supplementing their income? Where, they suddenly start wanting an uplift. Potential to cause issues.
And there is a lot of old boys in that team as well, old heads who'll be thinking that as well, isn't
yeah.
They? Do you know what I mean? So
if he can come down and pocket that payday by dropping a division, why can't I?
But generally, I do like that York team, and I think they'll build. Like, the one thing that makes me put York in the playoffs is the fact that how good were they at the back end of last season once Henderson had proper got hold of the team, and he's got some of his other
But
players
then they hit the playoffs and offered very little when it came down to it. Precisely.
But they was the form team. They'd not lost a game for 10 games before that, and we just did, and we just on the day were unreal that day though.
But that's the problem I think with York. That was their biggest occasion, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, but from where we took them from. I think Henderson's great. I do think they'll be playoffs. I know you put them seventh. Seventh, just missing out. But now
you've also got a very separate factor there. Does Henderson get poached by a Super League club mid-season?
Maybe.
If York are doing well, because there's probably a few coaches in Super League that are not all that safe in their job, and one of.
I know you're thinking FC, aren't you?
No, I'm thinking Giants.
Really? Ooh. I know you're for Tony Smith at minutes, so I thought FC were.
I think Tony Smith is a fantastic coach, but had his day probably around the time he left Warrington, maybe in his early days at KR. The thing is, I don't know if Henderson takes that FC job because it feels like a poison chalice, especially while Evan Pearson has controlled the club, because he's not.
I actually don't think Henderson would leave York mid-season. I think he's just too good of a guy. He just costed me such a good guy. Like, he's a good pundit and he's a good coach.
Here's the one that I'm going to also throw in. If Sam Burgess flops, does he return to Warrington?
Well, obviously we're there.
That might be a season-end job, but obviously we say he wouldn't leave York mid-season necessarily, but is that the one club that has the pulling power?
Maybe. I mean, it'd be interesting. But yeah, in terms of Henderson, big fan, and I think that's why York are there. But I mean, are we going on top 4 now? Top 4 territory.
We are.
Which we've actually got different top 4s, and I thought top 4 was set.
You did.
But
I think we're probably going to get closer to being level at this point. Because I've got Sheffield in 4th.
Sheffield in 4th, right? So is your else
very similar? You were saying, very strong core, played together a number of years, finished up there last season.
Well, they finished.
They finished fourth in the end.
They
would have been third if they beat you on the last day at
last game
LLP.
of the season. Whoever won, and we beat him by a drop goal last minute.
Yeah. So they faded out right at the end when it mattered, but ultimately they were probably never the favourites for going up. I think it was a great season for them. I think they'll replicate that, finish 4th again, but this time be a bit more convincing come the business end.
Oh, you fancy him, maybe? Well, in that bracket, 4th versus 5th, that'd be a game and a half, wouldn't it? Over at Sheffield.
Yeah.
Sheffield, Fev, would you fancy Sheff?
I think Sheffield win it. Because I think because what you've also got to think is we're hitting the point of year where KR are probably going to have playoff games, so they're going to be a lot less keen to send anyone decent to Feb in case they get crocked.
Yeah, that is true.
That's where Fed's squad depth comes to harm them at the business end again.
Maybe, but also I could see Fev signing a load of placements either.
Can they afford to this year, though?
Well, we don't know. That's interesting, right? That's got me excited as that. Bloody hell. I'd take it though. I would take. It'd be weird for Fev fans because they're used to just having home playoff ties all the time, aren't they?
Yeah.
The last few years, really. Apart from £1 million game, obviously against Lee. Oh, they didn't even get to that though, did they? Oh, my memory is not serving me well.
Yeah, Lee beat Batley.
You get that googled. What's to talk about fourth? I could be here a while. So fourth, I actually wish I'd have put us higher now if I'd have known.
Oh God, it's Bradford.
Don't say oh God, I've put them lower than you have.
Yeah, but I mean more the fact that you're now saying I'll be here a while because this means we're in for one of your.
No. I just obviously I'm most knowledgeable about my team. I think I'm putting us one position down from last year, mostly because the league's got stronger with London going up and Wakey coming down. Because London weren't really much of a threat at the top end last season. But also I probably didn't predict Bradford at third last year either. I think the team that we had at back end of last year would probably have finished top 2 this year. We don't have that. And it's just, I think the squad's good. You don't know what O'Carroll's going to do. I think that's a big thing. I really like him, and what he says in his interviews is really good. Go on, tell me.
Lee beat Batley 44-12.
Oh, you went fair play. So yeah, and I like additions. Suter is unreal. Overseas signing. We've got Zach Fulton coming over from Manly. He should be here by round 2. He looks mint. Obviously, you don't know how they're going to do. We've got decent halfback combination. Gaskell and Lilly settled in a lot of areas. Obviously, the big one, and I would have probably put us higher, is the fullback situation. I love McGowan. I think he's great, but he's no Tom Holmes as expected. Obviously, the old Tom Holmes situation we've touched on in the past on podcasts.
Yeah.
Is not great. With him, I think I'd put us much higher. There's also the thing of, we had Battieri for the second half last season from French Elite 1, and then he cryptically said he'd come back mid-season again, so I'm kind of in back of my mind thinking, are we getting Battieri
Well, I'm judging this based on purely who's here now.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I'm saying, if we had the team we had in the playoffs last year, I would have put us higher than we are.
Promissory notes don't count for anything in this league. Look at the Premier League's much apologies.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I do like with just a few prop shots. I mean, we're going to start season off terrible. We're playing Wakey. We've got no Doro, no Skur, no Davies because he's got too much ban now, and he's his best back rower. So 3 of his best starting forwards are all out. And
this is the exact reason why I very nearly put Chef third.
Yeah, but I think based on what we're going to do, and I think our squad, if everyone's fit's great, and obviously we'll get to a point where there will be and it'll be good. But I think start of season I think we'll come more towards back end of season. But I mean, yeah, I think we've got good players in good positions in terms of the halfback combination. I really like the pack. I like when fit. I think when not, obviously you struggle. Having like Corey Johnson on a season-long loan, I think is unreal.
I think that's better than obviously having a dual red situation where you don't have that certainty he's going to turn up every week.
Which we don't now. And also, it's weird. I wanted to touch on this. The Halifax situation on dual reds with you guys, right? Because they got rid of Brandon Moore, didn't they?
Yep.
As a hooking option, and then Adam O'Brien's now out for like 3 months. It might be 3 weeks or 3 months, but we've taken your hooker on loan who would be on dual reg then. So I don't quite know how that works, but
how it works is they are screwed.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah, but
hence why I've got the mate.
Yeah, I don't know. That's fair enough, but yeah, for us, I mean, you can touch on your thoughts on us when you get to it. I'm assuming next.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think fourth. Didn't want to ramble on for too long, but I feel like there's stuff I'm missing that I wanted to mention. Also, Georgie Tafua is unreal now, by the way. I don't know. Eamon O'Carroll's put a rocket up that man's ass. He is unreal. Right, that's it. Rant over.
Are you done?
Yeah. Who have you got third?
Right.
You've got Bradford third. I don't. You know where you
to lose.
Well, you've just changed that because you said you were going to put Chef third.
I debated it, But I have gone for Toulouse third.
What, you're glazing Bradford, I love this. I love this. Oh, go on. Toulouse third, go on.
It's the same problem that Featherstone have got. The squad is not that big, and it looks still very incomplete in key areas. People think Toulouse, and we think the days of Ford, Carella, and that squad just doesn't exist anymore.
Con Mika, remember him?
Friend of the pod.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this squad's version here, and there's some very good players. I think Ashelbot's decent at full back. You never quite know what you're going to get. He's a bit of a...
Is this the full team?
He's a bit of a... What's the word? Thing out of a cannon. Anyway, he's
I know
explosive.
what you're trying to say, yeah.
But, I mean, you've got what? Ruben Rennie for your heartburn. No 6.
No number 6, yeah.
Who's playing there?
Stuff can change though.
Of course, yeah. Harrison Hansen, who at this point I think I'm surprised he's not yet in a home. He's been going around probably since I was born. Apparently he's only 38. Jesus Christ, he's been like 38 for the last 10 years.
That shows how young he was when he broke onto the scene at Wigan, by the way.
Yeah, but I also thought he were about 35 when he left Wigan.
Yeah, he's been everywhere, hasn't he, to be fair.
I mean, he's been gone from there nearly a decade. In fact, it might even be
More than
longer.
that, yeah.
Like, how did he was released still in his prime?
I'm going to get Harrison Hansen's Wikipedia page.
Don Peru's still kicking about. Elwar Policier in there. Again, it's a team of old boys.
You know who's
And
good?
and
Anthony
whilst-
Marion at 13 is probably the
I will
best
give you
13
that,
in the
yeah.
league. I love him.
But like, and this is what concerns me, I guess, with teams like this, because when you get to that age in your career, as hungry as you are, there's only one way your body's going, and it's not improving. And if you've not got this young core blood coming through, it's a bit of a problem. They've lost Cozza, who was arguably, I think, one of their most underrated back rowers.
Well, I think they've lost a lot really. And it's kind of been since the whole Super League situation almost hindered them. Their team the year before when they got promoted was unreal.
But then half of them left before it even started.
That's what I mean. And then
obviously
last year they never.
And then they lost Sangare.
Yeah, well, but then like last season, at the start of last season, they was not that good. Like we beat them also, which we would never.
Did you not beat them away as well?
No.
Or was that the year before?
We got beat away, obviously normally, and then we got beat away in the playoffs.
Must have been the year before you beat them in France
ago,
then, yeah. Like you said, this team for me is not what it was, and I don't think there's anything there that overly excites me. And again, this is again where I think we're quite different, because you've obviously rated York because of the coach, whereas I think he can't do much because he's not the one on the pitch. And this is again where I'm at with Toulouse. Coaching staff, I think you're absolutely fine. Playing staff, I think your coaches drag you third rather than in this battle for, frankly, all the way down to 6th.
I think that's fair, to be fair. I hope Toulouse do shit, because I'm off to Toulouse away this year, so I hope they do shit and we beat them. Like, that'd be a mint. What an holiday that'd be, above. But yeah, I think that's
Third?
fair play. I mean, before I say my third, so in your bracket, so you've got...
Toulouse would be then at home to Widnes.
I'm assuming you're going to go to Toulouse.
Yes.
Right. So then you'd have Toulouse... Yeah, we'll do it
versus the highest place.
Yeah.
Which would, well, if they won it, it'd inevitably be second, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Right, so third place for me, I have got Featherstone, which I know we've touched on quite a lot. Them reasons of, I think they'll sign in season, which I know we can't speak, you said you're not taking that into account, but I know that they will, and also with the whole KR players, they've still got that culture of probably being hard to beat, really, which I think...
And if not, your fans will just, the small section of nut jobs will racially abuse you.
Probably.
Which is a shame, because it's a small but very vocal minority of Fev fans.
And you have to walk past them to go to only bar that serves margarine, not Carlin, don't you, as we found in pre-season friendly.
Well, to be fair, we don't know if we walk past the dodgy ones. The dodgiest thing in that stadium that day were Michael's bloody cheesy chips and gravy butter.
Oh yeah,
and the cocktail tent. That's a bit weird.
Yeah,
I've never known another rugby ground have a cocktail tent.
Maybe
it's a bit big, fellas.
We've got to bring out match day vlog, I think, for next. It's soon, to be fair. Fev
it's not far away.
It's not far off, so we might have to whip that out. But yeah, I think Fev, again, it's dependent on a lot of things, but I just think I was actually tempted to put them below Bradford, but I just can't do it.
I did.
Because I know I'll just get egg on my face, and I don't want to put my hopes too high. But I can't believe you've put Bradford second or first. You definitely put them second.
Yeah.
But that's it for Feb. We've spoke decent lengths about them. So go on, second.
Is this your glory run now?
Go on, you just.
Bradford second.
Yeah. Any reasons why? I know I've basically gone through all squad listings.
Because I think, like you said, it's going to be a bit of a fight back second after a sluggish start with the injuries. I think if there's one thing O'Carroll should be able to do, it's to get the forwards moving. And I think you've arguably got some of the best forwards in the division.
We've got the best two props in the league. I don't care about Tony. Wake fans are going to tell me Tony's better, he's not. But you're not going to get to see it because they're going to be fucking. The both of ours are injured for the game.
Right, well, you have to wait till 1895 semi then, won't you?
Yeah, we will.
I think that's the other thing here. I don't think now. They're obviously at the Challenge Cups, that's one focus gone in the early part of the season. You've got all the match fitness from it.
We've got
to
a
the
week
extent
off.
You're not injured.
Yeah.
You've got the week off to do a bit of recovery stuff and get your tactics sorted after being humbled by Widnes where things just didn't work.
Yeah.
Albeit you had a few key players missing there.
Well, Gaskell wanted the big
Precisely.
one.
But was it a knock? Was he ill?
Oh,
Is he unsettled?
Harry thought he was signing for Fev, and then he played and done an interview afterwards saying how he can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah, but which club?
You know what I mean? Like, pure bollocks, man. But
like, getting onto your half-backs, obviously, Lily knows the club inside out. Gaskell still got what it takes to compete at the sharp end. And then you get onto your backs, which, whilst I think this is your weakest area of the team,
yeah.
I don't know if there's anything that's too weak it causes you problems. I'm not on the Tafua hype train, you are, but if there's one thing you can do, it's crash over the line.
Buy people.
And that.
He has improved a lot. But again, we'll be missing
Blackmore.
He's injured for the first few weeks.
But actually, he's probably the one I would say maybe lets you down a bit more.
Defensively, definitely.
Defensively, he makes Deck Patton look competent. And he also isn't the guy who's going to be sprinting 75 metres to intercept the try line.
No, he's good. He's good.
That being said, when you get the ball deep, he will make the metres and take the work off the props. And that's something, again, that while we think O'Carroll's going to improve that in the forwards, that will then rub off onto even your backs making the drive.
Which is what I'm saying about Tafua, because that's what I've been impressed with.
You've then got your centres who, again, fully starting. I think you're in a great place. I think Gill and Arundel both.
I don't actually think that's what they'll go with, though.
Who do you think will start there?
Well, they'll start Gill, obviously, but
yeah, I mean Arundel's going to start the season probably in second row now, especially with Davies being banned.
Yeah, well, and we've got Keenan Brand on low. So we played against Swinton. We had Myers on the wing, who's a centre, really, but obviously we had Blackmore, and then we had Brand in the centre. So I think
But then was that a 2-week loan? Is he going to be there for round one?
Yeah, he should be.
But I mean, I'd expect it to
it's
be weird if it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, we need it now because Arundel's going to have to play back.
Because he's going to have to play in the back row, Because Davies is gone.
Butler, yeah, so...
And, yeah. So, I think you've got all the course making of a good squad. I just don't think it's good enough to beat Wakefield.
Which is...
I think
no one would think that would design.
And to be quite honest, I think this is also, as strong as the season is this year, every squad has an area you can point to and think that's where there's potential to exploit. If your area is potentially a wing, that's a lot easier than having a dodgy middle.
Yeah, definitely. I think as middle's really good.
Because a strong centre can go 80% of the way to covering up a poor defensive winger.
Yeah.
The only problem you've got there is when you get caught on an overlap, which if you've got a decent sliding defence, you can still maintain to an extent.
Blackmore needs a good defensive centre inside him, which Arundel is, to be fair.
I mean, you couldn't put Hurrell and Blackmore together, could you? Christ.
But I think what I like about Bradford's middle is, like, if you go through Bradford's props as such...
Did we say it was your turn to speak about Bradford?
Piss off. But, like, you've got... I know Harry. I wish Harry were here now because he thinks Lawrence and Smith are shit, but they're not. They just don't burst the line.
I couldn't even be bothered. I can't be bothered even mentioning them because I'm just picturing the rant in the comments.
I don't think Michael Lawrence has ever missed a tackle in a Bradford shirt. He's unreal. Like that, people don't see that side of the game though. They just
Lawrence is the top tackler. Smith, I'm admittedly not as sold on.
He hadn't quite done as well as I thought he would do, but he's still, again, defensively.
I've seen people in the Bulls fan base saying that he's basically just Cam with less hair, and I'm sorry, that is delusional.
Yeah, that is delusional. Yeah.
Like, Cam is quite clearly the superior brother, and that's not Leeds bias coming in. There's a reason one of them's on the periphery of the England squad and the other's in the Championship.
Oh, I'd swap him in a heartbeat.
I wouldn't.
Well, obviously you wouldn't, but I would. I'd love to have Cam Smith back at the team who made him.
You had him, there you go. I won't say made him, we gave you him on charity.
I'd seen a post the other day.
Sorry, this was you who came out and also said that Jared O'Connor was the worst of the bunch you had, and Josh Jordan Roberts looked like the biggest star.
What,
Out of the when you had the four, Smith,
the
O'Connor
best,
and Johnson.
No, we didn't have O'Connor then. How long ago you got? We had Lily Hallis.
Oh God, it was bloody Alice, wasn't
Lily,
it?
and we still have it. We've had him at 3 different spells now. Lily Hallis, Cam Smith, and Josh Jordan Roberts, and then we had Oledsky that season as well.
And also, we've missed the one key part of it about Bradford. Have his little boyfriend on his night out.
What, Billy Jowett?
Yeah.
I think he'll break the record for most 18th man appearances this year.
Jesus. We love you, Billy. Please come on the pod.
I'm going to say, don't be listening. He won't.
This is a dig at Harry, not you.
Yeah. What are we going to say something then? Oh yeah. So
it's going to be your number 2.
It is going to be my number 2, but I've got a side note.
Oh God.
Sidetracked. Look at this. We did the first 8 teams, and this is about 10 minutes.
Look, we've got the actual game starting in 7 minutes. Get on with it.
I saw a post the other day. I don't know what he was probably serious about rugby league or something. And it said, "Are these the 2 most underrated 13s in the league?" And it were Minchella and Cam Smith. And I was like, they were
no, because Cam Smith is very much rated, and Minchella is one of the prime candidates for this. People think he's underrated, but doesn't seem to do much anymore to warrant it.
We're not having a Minchella, but that's a separate video. Is Minchella versus Cam Smith?
Was incredibly not at his best last season.
Oh, Minchella?
Yes.
I'm not. We're not. I was just saying they were both made at Bradford.
Number 2. Get on with it.
It's you. I would say they were made at
You brought the tangent
Number 2 is obviously Toulouse, and
right,
I'll literally say what you said, that they are high in my opinion because they're just so good at home. They do not. They might lose against Wake at home, but other than that, I reckon they'll win them all.
We've both got Wake at 1 as well,
and we've both got Wake at 1.
Do we want to talk about it, or can we not?
Well, we need to speak about it though, because they're probably the big fan base who's actually stayed to see what we're going to say about them.
Yeah, but to be fair, we said they're going to win.
I think they'll be very good. They'll win a lot of games. I think they'll also lose a few though.
I don't
they'll never go unbeaten.
No.
They'll never go unbeaten. And I don't necessarily think it'll be Bradford who'll beat them, and that's not. I think they might lose away to lose. You know what? A game that I could see them losing is like a Batley away. Even Fev away, to be fair, they could lose if Fev get up for it.
See how the cup goes.
Yeah. I just think, I'm going to say it'll be interesting this weekend. I mean, we're playing them off a week's rest, and they've got to go Sunday in a tough game against Fev to us on Friday.
I think if you'd have had your players, definitely, but
obviously, so I think you'll win up, beat us game week. When I'm just looking for a good performance, a good effort from boys. But I just think again they've done well in terms of they've got the older players. Like a prime example, the 2 wingers. They've got McGilvery, I know he's injured, and Walmsley. They've got the new and they've got the old player. When they go up to Super League, McGilvery can probably stay down in Championship or go as a 3rd winger, and then you can bring in another young one. But you're going to keep Walmsley if you go up. Same with the props. I was joking. I was saying about Tony earlier. I do really like. He's a monster, to be fair. I wouldn't want him running at me. They've signed, like a Vanganar and that, and they've still got like your Pitts, Ashurst, Core, your Liam Hood. They've signed players like Tommy Doyle, Miles Lawford, who are good squad rotation players.
Can't wait for Doyle and Lawford part 2.
I'm going to say that would be good, wouldn't it? But Doyle's not bloody playing because he's injured and banned as well. Even if
I'm going to say he won't play regardless of the injury.
I know, it's kind of. I'm kind of glad he's injured for it, because otherwise it'd be shit, wouldn't it? I think Wake. I mean, everyone knows they're going to finish top and realistically win the league. I mean,
and get back to Super League and potentially get rid of Cass in the process.
What is your bracket then? So we need to go up and do brackets.
Oh God, we've got 5 minutes.
So 3rd versus so who did you have out? Toulouse and
right. Toulouse are beating Widnes.
Yeah.
And then
Sheffield
will beat Featherstone.
So you'd have Wake
and then at this
Sheffield.
point, Wakefield will beat Sheffield. I think you beat Toulouse at home, and then Wakefield win it against you, and they repeated the £1 million game from 2014.
Now that if the script wrote that, which is definitely not the way of saying that, then that'd be how they do it, wouldn't they? Repeat and win this time.
Yeah, will happen.
So for mine, I'd go us in. I haven't put us third. I put us fourth.
You put you fourth.
Fev against Sheffield. Fev win.
Yep. Okay.
Us against York. We win. Repeat of last
Yep.
year's. And then you've got first place Wakey against us. We win. Listen. Hear me out.
God.
And then you've got second place Toulouse against
Fev.
Toulouse win. Grand final
In
is
France.
in France. My second Toulouse trip at year. You're coming along with me.
I'm not.
And we absolutely do it. We do them in France.
It's not going to happen.
And we go up. But no, in all seriousness, top try scorer will be Lachlan Walmsley. I'd literally put my house on that. And player at season will probably be like Lino or something.
You do, as you've said that on camera now, so if Lachlan Wall was not the track.
He is though, isn't he?
Well, we won't be recording here again if he ain't.
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna go like Lino's player of the year or Gale, or it'll be one of them, or it might be someone
It won't
like
be Gale, he'll miss too much at season injured.
Or it might be like a Jowett actually, not Billy, Max Jowett, not Billy. Someone like that, unless there's a standout from another team or a player carries, a certain team. But I think you'd probably agree on that, wouldn't you? You just can't wait. We're 3 minutes off it.
I would, and we've got KR Warrington, which is exciting me more than this at this point. I'm not going to lie.
But thanks for watching. If you've got this far in, let us know who you think's going to win and go down and stuff like that.
Championship, not the KR Warrington game.
Basically. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week, guys.
See you next time.